In a world full of distractions and overwhelming thoughts, how can you, as a teen, take control of your mind and shape your future? What if I told you that the key to mastering your thoughts lies in the wisdom of Islam, guiding you toward peace, clarity, and strength? In today's story, we'll uncover how you can transform your thinking, break free from negativity, and build the mental resilience you need to thrive in 2025. Stay tuned, because this is the power you don't want to miss. Your mind is in your hands. Imran, like many teenagers, was always caught up in the hustle and bustle of life. His days were filled with school assignments, friends, and the pressures of fitting in. But when it came time for prayer, something strange happened. His mind would start racing. Instead of focusing on the words of his salah, his thoughts would drift. He'd think about his upcoming exams, how he could improve his grades, or the conversations he'd had earlier with friends. Even during Fajr, the early morning prayer, Imran struggled to keep his focus. As he stood on the prayer mat, reciting the words of Allah, it felt like a battle between his faith and his distractions. Imran wanted to connect deeply with Allah, but he often felt like his prayers were just another item on his to-do list. The weight of the world seemed to follow him into his salah, making it hard to truly be present in the moment. Every time he finished his prayer, he felt a sense of emptiness. He had said the words, but it felt like something was missing. He longed for the peace he saw in others when they prayed, like they were truly talking to Allah, not just going through the motions. But for him, it didn't feel that way. The distractions kept pulling him away, and no matter how hard he tried, his heart and mind seemed disconnected. Imran began to feel frustrated. He loved his faith and knew the importance of prayer, but the struggle to focus made him question if he was doing it right. Why was it so hard for him to stay focused? Why was he feeling so distant from something that was supposed to bring him peace? His frustration grew with every prayer, and deep inside, he knew he needed help. He wasn't sure how to overcome the distractions that clouded his mind, but he felt a sense of urgency. He didn't want to just go through the motions anymore. He wanted to truly experience the power and peace of prayer. Imran's frustration with his inability to focus during prayer weighed heavily on his heart. He had tried everything, forcing himself to concentrate, taking deep breaths, and even praying in a different room to avoid distractions. But nothing seemed to work. One evening, after yet another prayer filled with wandering thoughts, Imran felt a sense of defeat. He knew that prayer was supposed to bring him closer to Allah, but it felt like a distant dream, far from his reach. Sitting on the edge of his bed, he stared at the prayer mat in front of him. "Why can't I just focus?" he thought, his mind clouded with confusion. He longed for the peace that others seemed to have when they prayed, a peace that eluded him no matter how hard he tried. It was then that his uncle, who had always been a source of wisdom and guidance, noticed his frustration. His uncle was a man of deep faith and understanding, someone who had faced his own challenges in life and had learned to navigate them with patience and reliance on Allah. Imran's uncle was not just a relative. He was a mentor who had always encouraged him to strengthen his connection with Allah. "Imran," his uncle said kindly, seeing the weight of his nephew's struggle, "I can see the frustration in your eyes. What's troubling you, my son?" Imran hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to express his thoughts, but then he spoke from the heart. "Uncle, I want to pray with focus. I want to truly feel connected to Allah, but every time I try, my mind just drifts away. I feel like I'm just going through the motions." His uncle smiled gently, understanding his struggle. He had seen many young people face the same challenges. "Imran, your struggle is not uncommon," he said. "When we pray, we are not just reciting words. We are speaking directly to Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And when we speak to Allah, we must be fully present. But there is a secret to this. It's not about forcing your mind to be still. It's about understanding the meaning behind every word and opening your heart to Allah's presence. Imran listened intently as his uncle continued, sharing a story of a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, who was known for his profound focus and connection during prayer. There was a companion, his uncle began, who when he stood in prayer would be so absorbed in his conversation with Allah that the world around him would disappear. His mind and heart were fully in the moment because he understood that every word he spoke was a direct communication with the Creator. This man wasn't simply praying, he was feeling every word deeply, as if he was speaking to someone right in front of him. Imran's eyes widened as he listened. How did he do that, uncle? How did he stay so focused? He asked. His uncle chuckled softly. It wasn't about trying to control his mind. It was about being present in the moment. Every time he said, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, he would remind himself that Allah is greater than anything in this world. When he said, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, praise be to Allah, Lord of all worlds, he would reflect on the greatness of Allah and everything He has created. This understanding, this reflection, helped him connect on a deeper level with Allah. Imran's heart stirred as he processed his uncle's words. So, it's not about forcing myself to focus, he asked. No, it's about being mindful of the words you are saying and understanding their meaning, his uncle replied. It's about having a conversation with Allah. When you focus on His greatness, on His mercy, and on His presence, you will naturally feel more connected. It's about slowing down, taking your time, and being present. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to Allah. He is always there, listening, waiting for you to turn to Him. Imran's uncle then offered him a simple but powerful piece of advice. Before you start your prayer, take a moment to calm your heart. Breathe deeply and remind yourself of who you are standing before, Allah, the Creator of everything. Then, with each movement, focus on the meaning of the words you are saying. Don't rush, be present, and if your mind wanders, don't get frustrated. Just bring your attention back gently, with the knowledge that Allah is aware of your struggle and is pleased with your effort. Imran felt a sense of relief wash over him as he absorbed his uncle's advice. It wasn't about perfection, it was about sincerity and effort. He realized that his connection with Allah didn't depend on flawless focus, but on the intention and mindfulness he brought to his prayer. Thank you, Uncle, Imran said, feeling a weight lifted from his heart. I understand now. I'll try to focus on the meaning of my prayers and be present in the moment. His uncle smiled and placed a hand on his shoulder. You are already on the right path, Imran. May Allah make your heart firm and your prayers a source of peace. As Imran went to sleep that night, his mind was calm for the first time in days. He was excited to try the new approach in his next prayer. He wasn't expecting perfection, but he was filled with hope and determination. He knew that, with Allah's help, he could begin to feel the peace he had longed for in his prayers. The following morning, Imran woke up before dawn. The cool, quiet hours before Fajr felt different today. Instead of rushing through his prayer as he often did, he remembered his uncle's advice to slow down, to be mindful, and to truly focus on the words of the Salah. For the first time, Imran felt a deep sense of calm within him, a sense of purpose as he prepared to meet Allah in prayer. As he stood on the prayer mat, Imran took a moment to breathe deeply. He reminded himself that he was about to speak directly to Allah, the Creator of the universe. He whispered to himself, Allah is the greatest. The words Allahu Akbar felt more meaningful now. Imran wasn't just saying them, he was truly reflecting on Allah's majesty, His infinite greatness that far surpassed anything in this world. With each movement, Imran focused on the meaning behind the words he was saying. As he recited, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, praise be to Allah, Lord of all worlds, he imagined the vastness of Allah's creation, everything from the sky above to the earth beneath. He thought of the countless blessings Allah had given him, his family, his health, the gift of faith. The words he spoke felt more real, as if he were engaging in a personal conversation with the one who had created him. At first, his mind tried to wander. He felt the familiar pull of thoughts about school and the day ahead. But this time, he remembered his uncle's advice not to force his thoughts away, but to gently guide them back to Allah. Instead of getting frustrated, Imran simply brought his attention back to the words of his prayer. He recited with a calm heart, taking his time to reflect on each verse. When his mind drifted, he didn't feel guilt. He felt peace, knowing that Allah was aware of his struggle and would reward his sincere effort. With every movement, Imran felt his connection with Allah deepen. During the prostration, sujud, he placed his forehead on the ground and whispered from the depths of his heart, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, glory is to my Lord, the Most High. The act of lowering himself in humility felt profound, and he understood it not just as an action, but as a moment of submission to Allah, the creator of all that existed. The more Imran focused on the meanings, the more his heart felt light, as if a burden he hadn't realized he was carrying was slowly being lifted. For the first time, he truly felt that his prayer was not just a routine, it was a conversation, a moment of deep reflection and connection with Allah. When he finished the prayer with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, peace and mercy of Allah be upon you, he felt a sense of peace that he had never experienced before. His heart was calm, his mind clearer than it had been in days. Imran stood still for a moment, letting the stillness settle within him. He realized that it wasn't about being perfect in prayer or always having perfect focus. What mattered was the intention to connect with Allah, to give His words the attention they deserved, and to approach the prayer with sincerity and mindfulness. As the day went on, Imran noticed something amazing. He felt more peaceful in his interactions with others. When he faced challenges or felt stressed, he could easily recall the calmness he felt during prayer. It was as if the mindfulness he practiced in Salah began to spill over into his daily life. Whenever his thoughts tried to rush and overwhelm him, he would remember the stillness he had found in prayer, and his heart would find peace again. As Imran continued his journey toward mindfulness in prayer, he began to notice a shift in how he approached the rest of his life. His struggles with focusing during Salah weren't isolated to just the prayer mat. His mind was constantly pulled in different directions throughout the day. Schoolwork, social media, friends, and the pressure to meet expectations all contributed to his racing thoughts. But now, with the new practice of focusing on his prayer, he realized that he could use the same techniques to manage his thoughts outside of Salah as well. One afternoon, as Imran sat in his room preparing for an important exam, he felt the familiar wave of anxiety rise within him. The pressure of grades, the fear of not doing well, and the constant reminders from teachers and peers about academic success weighed heavily on him. His mind raced with worries. What if I don't pass this exam? What if I disappoint my parents? His thoughts spiraled into a cycle of fear and doubt. But then, Imran remembered his recent experience with prayer. He thought back to the calmness he had felt when he took a deep breath and reminded himself of Allah's greatness. Allah is with me, he whispered to himself, just as he had learned to do during his prayer. With that thought, he focused on the present moment. Instead of letting his worries about the future control him, he took a deep breath. centered himself, and reminded himself that he had done his best to prepare. Imran then recited the dua his uncle had taught him, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. As he repeated these words, a sense of calm washed over him. His thoughts slowed, and he found a renewed sense of peace. His worries didn't disappear, but they no longer controlled him. Imran realized that by trusting Allah and focusing on what he could control in the present moment, he could manage the stress that once overwhelmed him. The next day, when he sat down to take his exam, Imran felt a quiet confidence. Instead of rushing through the questions in a panic, he took his time. When he encountered a challenging problem, he paused, took a deep breath, and reminded himself that his efforts were enough. He didn't need to stress over the outcome. Allah had already planned what was best for him. Imran's ability to focus on the task at hand without the usual anxiety allowed him to perform better than he had expected. Imran's transformation wasn't limited to just his schoolwork. At home, he found himself more patient with his family. His younger brother had a habit of asking the same questions repeatedly, which used to frustrate Imran. But now, when his brother came to him for help, Imran would pause, take a deep breath, and respond with patience and kindness. The mindfulness he practiced during prayer had taught him the value of controlling his reactions, of being present in the moment, and of responding with compassion rather than irritation. One evening, while hanging out with his friends, Imran noticed the difference in how he interacted with them. They were discussing a recent argument he had with another friend, and naturally the conversation grew tense. In the past, Imran would have reacted impulsively, defending his position and adding fuel to the fire. But this time, he took a step back. He remembered the peace he had found in his prayer and the importance of managing his emotions. Instead of getting caught up in the heat of the moment, he responded calmly, listening to both sides and offering a balanced perspective. Imran realized that by practicing mindfulness, he could manage his thoughts and emotions in every aspect of his life. Prayer had taught him to focus on what truly mattered and to stay connected to Allah, even when life felt overwhelming. His thoughts no longer had the power to control him. Instead, he had learned to take charge of his thoughts, using the wisdom of Islam to navigate the challenges of life with a calm and centered heart. One evening, as he sat in reflection, Imran thought about how far he had come. He was no longer a slave to his distractions. His mind, once scattered and anxious, had become a source of strength. He had learned the true meaning of controlling his thoughts, not by suppressing them, but by redirecting them toward Allah, focusing on the present moment and trusting in His plan. Imran now knew that peace didn't come from a perfect, distraction-free life, but from his ability to remain connected to Allah through every thought and every action. As the weeks went by, Imran's journey toward controlling his thoughts deepened. What started as a simple effort to focus during prayer began to transform every aspect of his life. The mindfulness he had cultivated in Salah spilled over into his daily activities, creating a sense of inner peace that he had never experienced before. No longer was he consumed by his racing thoughts, worries, and fears. His connection with Allah had grown stronger, and with it, his ability to manage the distractions that once overwhelmed him. Imran's friends and family began to notice the change in him. His parents remarked on how patient and calm he had become, especially when it came to dealing with stressful situations. He no longer got angry at small annoyances, and his stress about school seemed to diminish. His younger sister, who had once been afraid to ask him for help, now sought his advice whenever she needed it, knowing that he would listen with a clear mind and a kind heart. One evening, Imran's father took him aside and said, "Son, I've noticed a difference in you lately. You seem more at peace with yourself. more focused, and less worried about everything. What's changed? Imran smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. It's the power of prayer, Dad, he replied. I've learned to focus on the words, to truly connect with Allah, and to bring that mindfulness into every part of my life. It's changed how I handle my thoughts and my emotions. Imran's father nodded, impressed by the wisdom his son had gained. Your mother and I are proud of you, Imran. This is the kind of strength that will carry you through life's challenges. At school, Imran's teachers noticed his improvement as well. His grades had steadily risen, but it wasn't just about the grades. He was more engaged in class, more thoughtful in his responses, and more patient with himself when he made mistakes. He no longer rushed through his assignments in a panic, but instead took his time, focusing on doing his best with the confidence that Allah was with him. Even when faced with challenges, Imran knew how to center himself, draw strength from his faith, and keep moving forward. One day, Imran's best friend, Tariq, came to him after a difficult conversation with his own parents. Tariq had been struggling with feeling misunderstood, and the argument with his parents had left him frustrated and angry. Imran could see the storm in his friend's eyes. Instead of offering quick advice or dismissing his feelings, Imran listened intently, just as he had learned to do during his own struggles. When Tariq finished speaking, Imran gently reminded him of something his uncle had taught him. Sometimes the best way to find peace is to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself what Allah wants you to learn from this situation. Tariq looked at him, a bit surprised. You always seem so calm, Imran. How do you do it? Imran smiled softly, remembering his own struggles. It's not about being perfect, he said. It's about being mindful of your thoughts, controlling your reactions, and trusting that Allah is with you in every moment. The more Imran shared his experiences, the more he realized that his journey wasn't just about him. It was about helping others too. He understood now that his ability to manage his thoughts, to find peace in prayer, and to approach life with calmness was a gift that he could pass on. His transformation was not just for his own benefit. It was a way for him to contribute to the lives of others and to inspire those around him. As Imran continued to grow, he began to feel a deeper sense of purpose. He understood that life would always have its challenges, but with mindfulness, prayer, and reliance on Allah, he could face them with strength and resilience. His thoughts no longer controlled him. He controlled them, and in doing so, he had found the inner peace that had once seemed so elusive. In the quiet moments of reflection, Imran would often remember the words of his uncle. When you control your thoughts and turn your heart towards Allah, you invite peace into your life. These words had become his guiding light. Imran realized that by controlling his thoughts, he had not only transformed his own life, but he had also become a beacon of light for others. And with that understanding, Imran knew that the journey of mindfulness, prayer, and faith was one that would last a lifetime. As Imran's journey continued, he realized that the real power of his transformation didn't lie in avoiding distractions or achieving perfect focus, but in his consistent effort to direct his thoughts towards Allah. The practice of mindfulness in prayer had become the foundation for his entire life. No matter what challenges came his way, he knew how to find peace within himself, how to pause, breathe, and reconnect with his Creator. Today, Imran stands as a testament to the strength of a focused mind, a mind that is not controlled by worries or distractions, but one that is centered on faith and trust in Allah. His prayers, once a struggle, had become moments of deep reflection and connection. His thoughts, once scattered and overwhelmed, had become powerful tools to help him face each day with calm and confidence. Imran's story is a reminder for all of us, especially as teenagers, that our thoughts have the power to shape our reality. It's not about being perfect or never experiencing doubt. It's about redirecting our thoughts, seeking Allah's guidance, and trusting in His wisdom. As the Quran says, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Surah Ash-Shar 6. The journey to controlling our thoughts isn't always easy, but it's worth the effort, for with every struggle comes the opportunity to grow closer to Allah. So, as you face the challenges of life, remember that you hold the power to shape your thoughts. You have the ability to redirect them, to find peace in prayer, and to turn every moment of doubt into a step toward faith. And in doing so, you will not only find inner peace, but also become a beacon of light for those around you. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below and share how you manage your thoughts in daily life. Let's continue growing together in faith, mindfulness, and positivity. Until next time, may Allah guide and bless you.